So you're getting pretty advanced now. Let's go right into formulas and functions. Last time we talked about how to do calculations manually. So you can see again here that we just chose the cells that we want to calculate with the equal sign. Okay. Let's say that I want to add up all these numbers here. Now it doesn't really make sense in here that to add up these numbers, but let's just do it anyways for argument's sake. So if I were to do that manually, I'd have to use the equal sign, and I'd have to click this, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this. And it is rather tedious, and it does create the possibility of, clicking, missing, clicking wrong and not choosing the right ones. So there's actually an easier way, and that's where we get into functions. What we're actually doing is actually doing a sum, and there's actually a function for that. Now in Excel they use the terms formulas and functions, and it just basically talks about the same thing. There's a few ways to get into your formulas and functions. One way is through the formulas tab, and you can see that they are organized by categories, so math functions and lookup functions and text functions. Okay. These are the most commonly used ones. Autosum. If you click on the arrow, the drop down here, it gives you some of the other commonly used ones like averages, doing maximum and minimum. You can also click here where you can actually search for the function that you want. If you actually know the name of it, you can type it here. For example, count, hit enter, and you can see that it has the count function. Or you can put it in a slight description, right? Count names of students. It doesn't always work, but it does kind of give you some, so you can see that it says, do you want to count? And then it'll give you a description here. This one actually only counts numbers, so that one actually won't work to count student names. For student names, after you read some of the descriptions, you might come down to this one where it says count number of cells that are not empty. So that one would probably work if you want to count like names of students. Okay. Anyways, so we're actually doing sum, which is right there, probably the most commonly used one. So I can click there. But I just want to show you another place where you can access your formulas because it is rather convenient. If you go back to the Home tab, they are available actually right here. Okay. And again, you still have the drop down to get to some of these other ones. And again, more functions if you want to use some of the other functions that are not here. Okay, so right now we're doing an Autosum. Okay, so if you click that, Excel will try to guess the things that you're trying to sum together. And sometimes it guesses right, sometimes it guesses wrong. It was almost right. The only thing is it's trying to sum, it's including this cell right here, which I don't want. So if Excel gets it wrong, you just have to tell it what are the cells that you're trying to use. And that's just a click and hold on to the mouse button and just kind of drag it down, kind of making it like a selection. Okay, so I'm selecting those to do the sum. You can see the formula here. It's doing a sum, and what it's taking inside the parentheses. In computer science, we call these parameters. So the parameters is what's the parameters for the sum function. And what it's doing is it takes from cell D2 until D12. Okay? Once you have chosen your cells, just click enter, and there we have a sum. Okay? If you click back up here, you can see that these are the cells that have been chosen for that sum. Okay? Okay, probably a little more useful thing might be an average. Here we did it manually, so we did an average of all these three assignments. Okay, let's do it with an actual function. Let's do the same thing. So let's go to the drop down here and let's use average. Okay, so Excel tries to guess. It says, are you trying to average this? No, I'm not. I want to average this. Okay, enter. Okay. And again, very handy, our autocomplete. Right, and you can see that we get the same thing as when we manually calculated it. Okay. Now, if you want to do something like a max, let's say I want to know the highest score in all of these. Let's do a max. Let's just write here max. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to enter my formula. Let's do the max. And we do, yeah, pretty close, max of those. and you can see that it gives me the highest one. I could also do the same thing with min, right, the lowest score. Count is sometimes a nice function, but count will only count numbers. Like I said, you can't count things like text. Okay, so it will work here. So if I want to know how many grades there were, you can do a count numbers, and you can see that it inserts the count function. And let's select these. Let's see how many people there were that took the exam. So I know that 11 people had scores. Okay. Let's say you can see that if I take out some of these, you can see that all the things kind of update. Okay. This one doesn't quite work because it's divided by 3, so it adds all these, so it adds 0 as well too. So it's divided by 3, so that's, you can see how the actual function average works a little bit better. Okay. So let's say that I have this. Now if I do a count, I can actually just click the entire column like this, so I can count all the numbers in this column. Oops, no, since this column actually contained the formula, it doesn't like that. Let's put it somewhere else. Let's delete that. Let's put it down here. Let's do a count AS2. Okay, so count of assignment 2. Count numbers. Let's see, and you can see that 9 people got a grade for assignment 2. So I just want to show you one more function. There are all sorts of formulas and functions, all sorts of crazy stuff. There's like statistics and finance and stuff like that. But I'll just show you one more, just not to get too complicated. And it's the if statement. Okay, this can be quite useful. For example, let's say I want to see anybody that has a grade under 65. Okay, and I want to send them a midterm warning. Okay, so let's just go right here, and let's insert a formula. And if I don't know what it is, I can go in here and if. Okay, there it is. If function. Okay. Now, how the if function works is what is it that you're trying to test? Okay, once you test that, if it comes out true, do this. If it comes out false, do this. So let's test the person's average. And if the average is less than 65, then I'm going to write warning. Okay. Now, I put quotation marks, if you notice, and the reason for that is whenever you're writing text, you need to put it in quotation marks. If you don't use quotation marks, it might think that it's the name of a formula or the name of a cell, and it might get confused. Okay, and if false, nothing. Okay, that's how you do nothing. You just do double quote, and that just means do nothing. Okay, so let's click OK, and you can see that this person has a warning because it's under 65. And let's just do autocomplete again, and you can see all the people that need to get a midterm warning. Okay, so that's the if statement. It can be useful to kind of test and then do something if it's true or do something if it's false.